Up+Adam.
Tractor systems are offline.
We are Beyond FM.
Beyond FM.
The future of broadcasting is here.
Up+Adam with Adam Montiel. It's community content from Concentrate. It's Up+Adam with Adam Montiel.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Yes, some say life is just where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Happy Friday. You made it to the weekend looking good. Not today, you're looking good. Thanks for being here. My name is Adam Montiel. You're Up+Adam. It's Friday. I'm looking forward to this weekend like I've been saying, but man, when the weather, is this pretty outside? Dang. All right. Downtown SLO. Downtown SLO has been a soundtrack for live music. And if you've been anywhere near the corners of Broad and Pacific and been to Libertine, you know exactly what I mean. Libertine Brewing Company has quietly become that 200 to 300 person heartbeat this town has been missing since the Garden Street days of the OG Slow Brew, right? From hosting our breaking and entering Christmas Jingle Jam with open arms, to giving local bands their first real stage, comics their first real open mic, to paying out over $125,000 to musicians and comics in the last year alone. This is more than a bar. Libertine is a launch pad, a community hub, a culture builder. But now one neighbor's noise complaints have put that momentum under a microscope. If you've read the story in New Times or KSBY, maybe seen it there, you might think you know what's going on. Today, we're going even deeper. We're actually breaking new news, new details about where things actually stand with the city, what's happening behind the scenes, and what Monday's public hearing could really mean for downtown and its music scene. This is not just a recap. This news and this story is constantly evolving. Noise violations, the city, police, neighbors. What the heck is going on? We're talking about a downtown hub where live music, it's already permitted. It's already a thing. It's been this way for years. How can one neighbor change that? You moved downtown SLO, my friend. This is the rest of the story. We're breaking some news here, as we will tend to do. And you're going to be hearing it first. We got John from Libertine, who is Up+Adam. Can't wait. That coming up in just minutes. Now, also Robin Coleman from the Woods Humane Society. I'm really excited for this conversation because we have talked to her many, many years about this talent she has with connecting people who have lost pets or are going through that really, really tough time. And Woods is actually launching something with those feelings and those people in mind. Very exciting stuff. You know, I absolutely love the Woods Humane Society and everything that they do. I'm all about it. We have two little scruffy animals from the Woods Humane Society in this home, and this home is better because of it. All right, so we'll talk to Robin coming up in a little bit. I want to get right into my conversation with John. We even have a special surprise guest that jumps in on this conversation in the Lowbro Studios. That's kind of cool. Before we do that, I want to tell you about Paso Wine Fest because it is coming. Now, look, I get it. It's not till May. Adam, why are you talking about something going on in May right now? Well, because there is a locals-only ticket that expires. This early bird pricing expires in 8 days. February 28th, the end of the month. For now, locals can get into Paso Wine Fest, the main grand tasting, May 16th, for just $99. Over 100 wineries, fired up food, live tunes. It's an incredible afternoon. It's really, this is becoming one of the biggest food and wine fests in the nation. Over the years, this has become something that people travel all over the country to check out now. It's become a tourist destination. And this started in the park, 40, 50 years ago, whatever it was. So pretty exciting stuff. Now it's at the Paso Event Center, a whole weekend of festivities, May 15th through 17th. Again, that marquee event, that grand tasting, Saturday, May 16th. I'll be out there doing my show Where Wine Takes You with Paso Wine. Now, these locals only tickets, you got to get them in person. You can go to the Paso Chamber on Spring Street or the SLO Chamber. Yeah, you can get them in San Luis Obispo, SLO Chamber on Monterey. Got to bring that local ID. This deal is just for the grown and sexy that call SLO Cal home. After February 28th, that price jumps. And I mean, it jumps big. Like, it's got a big vertical. So get those tickets, $99, get them now. Go to PasoWine.com for the 411. You can also log on to AdamMontiel.com. That's me. I'm giving away tickets. Yeah. Up and Adam is giving away tickets so you can win your way and go to AdamMontiel.com, go to the homepage, and let's go.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, downtown SLO in the music scene is at a crossroads right now. And right at the center of it, Libertine Brewing Company. And you know the spot, Broad and Pacific. Live music, comedy nights, line dancing, the same venue that opened its doors and arms for our Breaking and Entering Christmas Jingle Jam. Help raise money for that local family. And now, after noise complaints from a new neighbor and a year of back and forth with the city, their use permit is under review and a public hearing has been set. But here's the thing. There's more to the story than what you might have seen on KSBY or read in the New Times today. We're going to talk about what's actually happening, where things are at in the moment, because it's a quickly evolving story. What's at stake for local music and where things really stand right now. Welcoming events manager John Pranjaic from Libertine. Thank you, John. Thanks, my man, for being Up and Adam.
Thanks for having me.
This is long overdue, dude.
I know.
First of all, I can't thank you enough for the help you provided for our Breaking and Entering Jingle Jam. That was so much fun. Your team was so pro. They were so kind. Your bartenders, to your folks helping us with sound and, liaisons with the musicians and you, of course. I mean, I know you even came in just to see how it was going. So thank you so much for that and for offering your venue for that very worthy event.
Yeah, no problem. It's part of what the community is supposed to do.
Yeah.
So,
well, I remember that conversation with you where where we were on the phone and I was just talking venues with you and then KB was like, dude, you need to call my boy John. And I was like, okay. And I was just like, you were just so kind and awesome and very, I love how you put that, very community-like. Absolutely. So thanks again.
Yeah, we're all about it, man. I appreciate you trusting us to host an event like that. I know you've been doing that for many years and it's a really important event for the community. So I feel kind of honored to be able to be part of that history now.
Now, we wanted to connect for an interview when that happened, just so hey, let's talk Libertine. Let me thank you for what you guys provided for us for our Breaking and Entering Christmas. But then, dude, so much has come up since. You've been very, very busy, my man.
Yep.
And, so to have you in here, it's incredible. And when you talk, when you walk into Libertine on a live music night, and you guys have kind of reconfigured things, you really dialed that whole ish in. Speakers, acoustics, the whole thing. Talk about how you guys have evolved that venue as a music venue over the last, year or two.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation to have because some of the decisions we made to get Libertine to where it is now predate some of the stuff that I think we're going to talk about in a little bit, which are noise complaints and becoming compliant with the city. But some of the changes that we made, we did preemptively. So when you walk into Libertine now, you see where the stage is and where the speakers are and where the sound kind of travels in the room. That's different than what the city and Libertine worked out years ago, which they initially approved a stage to be in a different area with the speakers than facing outside of the venue, basically.
Right.
So
I remember that.
So the sound would be traveling outside, and so one of the first changes that we made when we moved the stage and we rearranged the speakers is now we keep that sound in our venue. So it was actually a positive change and
pointing everything towards downtown,
towards downtown, towards our own bartenders.
Right. Yeah.
So,
the venue is not wide; it's now long.
Mm-hmm.
You're facing the long venue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah, and ultimately it's better for the entire neighborhood. It's better for downtown. It's better for our venue. It's better for the customers. It's better for the people that buy tickets. It's a more just the venue is orientated the correct way instead of kind of being haphazardly put together. Usually when you walk into a brewery or a restaurant that's offering, entertainment or something like that, you find a place to put the guy playing guitar.
Yeah.
It's usually an afterthought. And then, but we went through that stage as well. So we went through the stage of, trying to find out what works and what doesn't. And, we ultimately found a good solution for it. And, it takes time. So.
Libertine has really grown up in a lot of ways. What started as a craft beer destination, has become something more respected, more refined, more rooted in downtown, more of a music destination. How has that evolution affected you? And then before we kind of get into some of the more recent headlines, I mean, that has definitely become like a thing with Libertine of late.
Yeah, we made the conscious decision a few years ago to be different than everything else that was in downtown. We felt like there was enough late night DJs. We felt like there was enough just dive bars. We felt like there was enough fancy restaurants. And so what downtown was missing, we identified was, a real music venue experience for that 200 to 300 person range.
Sure, we all remember Garden Street.
And that's where I was going with that, is that, I grew up going to SLO Brew on Garden Street. I probably went to my first concert there. I can't tell you how many times I snuck into concerts there. Monty, he's a friend now.
He's a legend.
But,
I love Monty.
Back in the day, I can't tell you how many times he kicked me out because I would go upstairs and take the elevator downstairs and I'd end up in the green room somehow.
Yeah, that's
and
so
great. I'd walk right out into the concert.
Oh, dude, the green room stories I have from SLO Brew Garden Street. Like, I literally just told one the other day when it was like, Tone Loc was telling me how he got ripped off doing Wild Thing, and in this like raspy, I only got $10,000 from Wild Thing, and then whether it was, I remember being in that green room passing around some certain things as Still Time was doing their final show, or I mean, just like so many moments seeing Snoop Dogg singing "It Ain't No Fun" with like pretty much everyone from that song but Nate Dogg, because he had passed away, that came out of that green room onto that stage. Like, I mean, I can understand why when that venue didn't pan out after its second try, and of course they're by the airport and they're killing it, like Ryan, and they do great, and now they can fit 500-600 people down there, great. But for downtown, why not have something that can fit 200-350 and do it up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when we identified that as like the direction we wanted to go, that's when we go back to the city and we start that conversation with them about like, hey, like, we're ready to update our venue. Are you guys ready to update our permits and allow us to do this? And we got nothing but green lights from them. It was actually a great conversation with them over the course of probably a year. It took us to get all the approvals and everything done, but we frequently get compared to the old SLO Brew, not necessarily in like an aesthetic way. Actually, aesthetically, the comment we get all the time is, you guys are like the old SLO Brew without the post in the middle.
I was just going to say, how are they going to pair it? You don't have a post.
Yeah.
In the way.
Yeah. And, when SLO Brew changed, and they moved around the corner onto Higuera and then eventually out to the airport, it left a big void in downtown. And like we were talking before we started recording, St. Louis has such a rich music history, and SLO Brew was the one that carried that torch in downtown. In San Luis Obispo, or even on the Central Coast in general, SLO Brew carried that torch for a long time. And they're the reason why certain artists love this area and they love coming back, and they'll come play SLO Brew still, even though it's only 500 or 600 people. And some of the acts that are coming through there are used to playing big theaters, huge festivals, things like that. But they love coming to San Luis Obispo because of what they remember in the 90s and 2000s when they were coming here, and they were treated so well by not only the venue but the community. Like the community response to live music has always been really great here.
Yeah,
and I feel, I don't want to say that we're at a low point now, but there's definitely fewer venues than ever before. I frequently talk with Paul Irving from Big SLO.
For sure, great guy.
He's a great resource when it comes to music and the history of music in the town. And so he's told me before, like, he remembers walking down Higuera and Marsh Street back in the day, and at any given night there was 10 to 15 places that had live music.
Wow. And
you go down now and it's us and Frog and Peach.
Right.
And the Fremont is great, but it's different. That's not it's just a different level.
It's not the kind you stroll in,
Correct.
hear some live music, grab a beer, and like, oh my God, a live band.
And you can't just be a local musician and walk in and play the Fremont, right? Like you need a place to start.
Yeah,
and so those places to start are the ones that we're missing more and more now. And I feel like we definitely fill that void, but we also kind of bump up into the next category of we give people like the first chance to play on a real stage, or we give them the chance to open for a touring band. So we kind of hit both of those marks where you can get your first time on stage. And it's also like your first time in like a real venue.
Let's talk about the headlines of late. Noise complaints. It sounds like it's coming from literally maybe one neighbor near you. And I go, shoot, you're downtown. You're literally downtown. You're in a commercial downtown area that has been permitted to play live music. I'm trying to piece this together. But you hit some real hurdles of late, whether it's violations or this or that. I know we're going to break some news here because there's been articles in New Times. People have been talking about this. Where are we at with, one, let's set the stage of what happened, and then literally what is the latest?
So what has happened is, there's been some complaints lodged against us as a business regarding noise, and specifically, late night noise. And it's difficult to understand what the problem, or not necessarily what the problem is, but what the proper solution is, because we've attempted to reach out multiple times to the people that have complained.
So it's like a neighbor.
We know who they are, yes.
Yeah, and it's one person, not like a neighborhood. It's it's literally a neighbor.
Yeah, and
who recently moved in. I don't know if recently, but like they moved downtown. They're like, oh wow, I'm next to a bar that plays live music. I don't like that anymore.
Yeah, so we've, just for the history of it, I mean, we've been there for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Before that, everybody probably remembers it being a furniture store. Before that, it was a mechanic's garage for a number of years, right? So it's been a business, with a lot of activity on that corner for 50 years. And these complaints have now come from somebody that moved in within just about a year ago. So they're the newest addition to the neighborhood. And they're not necessarily happy with what's happening around them. I can't necessarily speak to what's making them unhappy because we don't know. Like I said, like we've attempted to have a conversation with them, and it'd be nice to know, like, hey, like is it something specific? Is it the people's voices? Is it a specific frequency? How loud is it in your living room? Can you actually hear it in your living room? We don't know, right? And so it's been hard for us to judge how to make changes or make people happy when we don't really know what the problem really is. And for a year,
especially when you're permitted to do what you're doing.
Correct, yeah. And and the activity that we've been doing predates them being there. So like that's the other thing is that it's hard for us to all of a sudden change a business that we've built. That is based on this type of activity. When all of a sudden somebody comes in and says, "Hey, no, turn it down."
Right.
But the other thing is too is that for a year we were getting the noise complaints, and police would show up, and police would be like, "Nah, you guys are all good. You sound like the rest of downtown.
Right.
You guys got all your permits. You guys are well within your right to be doing what you're doing. You carry on." So to have this abrupt kind of change in the interpretation or the enforcement has been tough for us to navigate. It's not something we're shying away from. We're actively having conversations with the city, with the police department, with the officers that respond. We're also talking with our neighbors, not the people that are complaining because they won't talk to us, but we've actively reached out to other people in the neighborhood asking them, "Hey, what do you think? What do you hear at night? What do you?" And the feedback from our neighbors have actually been really great. It's been a good experience for us because we've gotten a chance to get to know our neighbors better.
Yeah.
We know a lot of our neighbors already because they're frequent flyers at our business, no matter, if we're just open for coffee in the morning or if they're actually there attending, a lot of them attend our concerts, they hang out, and, they really do enjoy us. And so, overall, I would say as unfortunate as the experience has been to have to go through this, there's been a lot of positives that have been coming from it. And, not only building or strengthening those relationships with our neighbors. But, having this open dialogue with the city now, I think is better to do now than to wait 3, 5, 10 years when downtown has more residents that are living around it, because they're going to be building more mixed use and affordable housing and things like that. Like, that's all coming, right? So I feel like this is a great opportunity for us to get ahead of that. And now, we can turn this into a positive with the city and have these conversations like, hey, what's this going to look like in 3, 5, 10 years? And, what can we do to protect all of our nightlife and protect our entertainment, protect our music venues? And what can we do now to stop that from getting shut down in the future?
What can we say that we have seen developed as far as these conversations? Can we talk about some of the conversations? I mean, I know we talked off the air, but what can we say on the air? I know you really desire an honest, transparent, good relationship with your neighbors in the city, and you desire a good relationship with your neighbors behind you or wherever that they are. So you've talked to the city. We've gotten, at least some things have developed. What can we say?
Yeah. So I think that like it's hard to say because we haven't had a final ruling yet, but there's preliminary discussions that we will be able to continue to operate as a late night bar restaurant that offers entertainment. It doesn't look like they're going to place any harsher restrictions on us. What should be known too for everybody in the community is we do operate with a set of conditions on our license or on our permits that do restrict us from doing certain activity at certain times during certain days of the week, right? So, we're only able to stay open until midnight, Sunday through Wednesday, and our entertainment has to end earlier. And on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we're able to stay open until 2, but our entertainment needs to end at 1. And one of the things I've pointed out a couple times is we never stay open until 2. We never run our entertainment till 1. We frequently end our entertainment around 11:30 or midnight, and our staff's usually out of there by 12:30, and they're at McCarthy's by 1.
Yeah.
So, it's nice to have the ability to stay open. Like if we have a private event or something like that, and we have that in our back pocket that we can stay open. But we recognize our place in the community. We recognize our role in downtown nightlife and whatnot. And McCarthy's, the Mark, Frog and Peach, those are well-established places that people go to till 2 a.m. Mm-hmm. That's not the reputation that we've had at Libertine, because being able to stay open until 2 is new for us. It was a condition that the city updated and allowed us to do last year. Yeah. When they approved it. So what's happened more recently, to get back to your question, sorry I rambled, is the city is they've reevaluated their permits that they've issued to us, and all things are looking like they're not going to give us any more conditions or additional conditions or any harsher restrictions, and it's going to be up to us to kind of just stay within the lanes, or stay within the lines. And
so there's nothing that they're restricting you from. They've looked at things and at least preliminarily have said, look, where you and I are at, we're still there. We're not taking anything away. We're not restricting anything. Less permitted to do this or that. And then, you just make sure that you abide by all of the laws. And I guess then it becomes the police's issue if they get called or what they do or what they interpret. And then it's kind of there, I imagine.
Yeah. And it to be honest, and this is something I said to a staff member at the city, I feel very happy isn't the right word, but satisfied knowing that the city is standing with us, right? Like they believe in the general plan that they designed for all of San Luis Obispo, including the downtown core, and that includes entertainment, and includes nightlife, and includes music and art and culture and all these things, and we're part of that picture for the future, and them standing behind what they've already approved. To me is a sign of good faith, and it's a sign. It's a good sign for small businesses in downtown that the city's behind you. And so to me, another positive that has come from this whole ordeal.
Yeah. That's good. That's refreshing. Because I imagine like the feeling of siphoning off on restrictions that have been in place for a decade and have been in downtown for a long time over complaints from one person. I don't know. It feels like a city can't let things be that. You can't afford things to be that fragile.
Yeah.
I mean, things have to be set in, like, these are the rules. These are why we have them. We expect people to abide by them. But fragility doesn't show security. It doesn't show leadership. So I'm glad that, for you and for the relationship, that's the way it is. That's good.
No, it's definitely a positive, and I think that there's more positives that can come from it as well. Now, like you mentioned, it kind of goes back to police department and code enforcement and how they're going to interpret some things, but. This whole process has illuminated a lot of things. The code that we are beholden to in San Luis Obispo, especially when it comes to noise, hasn't been updated since 1996.
I graduated high school in 1996. That's a long time ago.
Yeah. And downtown's changed a lot since then, right? Traffic patterns are different. The businesses have come and gone since then. What downtown is different, right? There's not much. There's not much. I guess that's the same from 30 years ago, other than it's still downtown.
Yeah.
There's very few businesses that have lasted 30 years. There's a handful, but.
And you said like you've even done some research on the way music downtown was even back to like the 50s, the 60s. Yeah,
so that's another positive I take from this whole experience is, as I've dealt with this for a little bit more than a year now, which is, I mentioned to you off air too, that, I'm kind of glad this is all coming out in the open now, because now I can talk about some of the stuff that we've been dealing with instead of just keeping myself up at night. But yeah, one of the positives has been that I've had a chance to really dive into the history of music in San Luis Obispo and just really solidify how important music is when it comes to our community and our culture that we've developed as a city. And one of the cool stories that I've come across is this band that started as a high school band for some kids at SLO High in the 50s, and they were part of like the early surf rock, alternative rock movement, and they spawned a bunch of different bands. Whether it was members leaving and joining or starting their own bands or going on tours with other places. But, it was really the start of like surf rock. Like it started here on the Central Coast. And we talk about venues and stuff that were around then. A lot of them were like down in Pismo and whatnot, like right next to the beach. But these kids that started their band in the 50s, 30 years later, Quentin Tarantino found their music and put one of their songs in Pulp Fiction. So
is that right?
Yeah, yeah. And there's a local guy here. There's a local guy here that is now credited with creating the song "Wipeout," like that iconic surf song "Wipeout."
For sure.
It took him a long time to win the rights back, and there was a big legal battle for that, I guess, too.
Really?
But he finally won it, and so he's now credited with that song.
Is that the one like
Wipeout? Yep. Yeah. So that that has local roots here, and so that's dating. Like this is dating all the way back to the 50s,
damn.
right? So it's pretty cool to learn about that.
That is super cool. Proxima Parada, they played there. That's Nick Larson.
Yeah, get in here.
Get in here. Come here.
Yeah.
If anyone knows about this, right? He should, right?
Actually, so this is funny. Nick has a really interesting story to tell about.
Well, we're
live
talking about
music.
local music downtown. Are you down to jump on for a second?
Yeah. What's up, dude? How are you?
The one and only Nick Larson.
Me and Nick can tell Nick can tell a really unique story about our corner on the Pacific Broad intersection. Yeah.
Let me see what mic you're on.
Oh man, this is so fun! I didn't. You said you had another interview going. Good to see you.
Yeah, dude, it's good
I
to
didn't
see
know
you.
it was John.
Yeah.
Great to see you.
Well, I'm going to be talking to Nick separately on a separate episode about him playing with the symphony.
I know. Yeah,
Unbelievable.
that's cool.
So continue. Go ahead.
Well, we were supposed to have KB joining us today too, right?
I know.
But yeah, I recently hosted Proxima Parada, and they had KB come up on stage and join them for a couple songs. So there's a lot of intertwining here. This is a cool surprise. Nick's pretty aware, I think, of some of the stuff we've been dealing with our neighborhood. But Adam, when I tell you that I've learned a lot about the history of music in San Luis Obispo, one of the things I learned more recently is where Proxima Parada started, and it was on Pacific and Broad Street. So
Literally across the street from Libertine. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was a furniture store when we started there. Yeah. Right. That's where I lived for 10 years.
Really?
Yeah. And my bandmate Kevin lived there. And yeah. So when the Libertine started, we were right there. Yeah.
Across the street?
Yeah. When it opened. Yeah.
Oh my God!
So they rented a house that's literally, when you walk out of our back door, you walk into the driveway of that house.
Yeah.
And so that's where the band started and would practice.
Yeah, all of our rehearsals. Yeah, our first little like backyard concerts there. Yeah,
No way.
right there.
Proxima?
Muy bien.
So you didn't you just play there like, I don't know, a month ago?
We just played this duo show there, and it was so fun. It was beautiful. I can't believe we waited that long to finally play at the Libertine. Loved it.
You know all about downtown SLO and the music, and like, you know, we were just talking about, you know, back in the day it was like Garden Street, SLO Brew, like of course Frog and Peach and these other places, but now it's like there's not a whole lot of places.
Libertine is the only place that can fill that.
That can fill that. I mean,
Yeah.
thank God Frog and Peach is still doing its thing.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Like, there's no one else that can put 200-300
and
people
you know,
in a-
Frog and Peach is a lot of fun and all,
Yeah.
but it's not necessarily like a focused venue for the most part. It's
Right.
like, you know, there's bands playing while people are hanging.
Yeah.
But you know, you go to a Libertine show and it's a concert. You
Yeah.
know, people are actually there to enjoy the music. You know,
Yeah.
it's a different thing, and it's what, like 300 or so caps. So
$2.99.
And I mean, you know, the growth of SLO Brew and what like Ryan and his team are doing down by the airport,
Yeah.
incredible, wonderful.
Amazing. Yeah.
They've even been able to welcome more people there than
Right.
back in the day at Garden Street.
True.
But to have the downtown hub be able to put 200-300 people in a venue
Yeah.
for some downtown music, like that's important.
it's special. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for me, I can walk there.
yeah.
I love it. as much as
speaking.
I love going to, you know, Slow
For
Brew
real,
Rock,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, but that's a little car ride.
So where do we sit now? And most importantly, as we wrap, John, like what do we need? Where can the community jump in, help out?
Well, we have a public hearing that's going to be taking place at City Hall. It's not a city council meeting, so I think that's a big distinction to make. But it is being held in council chambers.
Okay.
So it's at City Hall. It's Monday, February 23rd at 2:30.
It's Monday.
It's open to the public. Anybody can come in and speak their mind. Now, the difference between this type of a meeting and what city council is basically what's going to happen is that there's an administrative officer who's going to review our use permit, and we kind of already know what's going to be presented going into it. The staff report was released yesterday, so Wednesday, February 18th. So the person, I don't want to say already has his mind made up, but you know, the evidence is already on the table and we know exactly what's going to be presented. The community aspect of this is really important because if they were to rule against us or set harsher restrictions or things like that, the community has the ability to chime in and say things like, this is what we want as a community. This is what we want for our downtown. And it all goes on official public record, which is really important because if it were to progress to the next level, which is a planning commission meeting, and then beyond that would be city council.
Yeah.
But all of that, all that comment is on the public record and is then presented at the next level.
So we need to come through. We need to show up. And a lot of times with these city meetings, there's a way to like email and get it on the record. Is there?
Yeah, correct. You can email Mallory Patino. She's the assistant planner assigned to this project. Her email is mpatino@slowcity.org.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yep. And Mallory's great. She's been the person that we communicate the most with, probably. And so we learn a lot from her on, you know, the interpretations of code, the interpretations of staff reports and things like that. So she's been a very, very good resource. And again, like when I say that we've had a lot of positive conversations with the city, a lot of that is because of her. But just in general, the city has been very receptive to, our questions, and they've been very good at giving us very in-depth answers. So that's another positive that I think has come from this whole
'cause
experience.
in the end, you just want to stay in your lane and operate, give the community culture, give the downtown some music, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're not trying to like color outside the lines per se.
No way.
You know what I mean? So it's like, just let me know, hey, I'm trying to deal, like, we've been doing this 10 years.
Yep.
It's been fine.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
One funny story that kind of relates to Nick's old house is one of the noise complaints that the police showed up for. We had nothing happening that night. And so when the police showed up, they're like, "There's nothing going on. Like, what? Like, why'd we get a call?"
I love that.
But since Nick had moved out of that house, another band had moved in.
Oh, stop it!
And so that band was having practice at their house, and the neighbor unfortunately thought that it was us making noise, but it wasn't even us. It was somebody else. And so.
That's rich. Is that just not perfect? My goodness.
But it just goes to show again, like the history of kind of music on that corner, and going back to talking about like the history of music venues. There was another music venue on Broad Street, just maybe 100 feet from us, where Big Sky was most recently. Before that, it was called DK West Indies. And it was like this cool, like Afro-Caribbean cuisine type place. Like it was really like.
When was this?
In the 90s.
Oh my God.
But they hosted live music all the time, and so one of
Bring
their
that back. That sounds dope.
one of their claims to fame was they had Chris Isaak play there. So Chris Isaak played at this little restaurant on Broad Street in the 90s, and people will like frequently be on Facebook and post like memories of it, or they'll post a picture from that night, and it's super cool. So like when people are saying that like, oh, this is new to San Luis Obispo, or this is new to your neighborhood, or new to Broad Street, it's like no. There's a long history of things, of activity on our street and in our downtown that predates a lot of this. So.
And again, like we have professionals and city servants that dictate what is zoned for what. And you are a downtown music venue permitted to do what you do.
Right.
Like, I mean, look, I don't know. Okay. And then what? You know what I mean? Like, I get it, but it's like, come on. And I like you, I can tell there's like a heart in here in your chest that wants to be a great neighbor. And I'm always like the kind of person, I don't know if you're like Nick, insecure like me, where like, if I'm in a room with 60 people and like 2 don't like me, I want to get those people like, around, and like, I'm like, where can we come together? You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm thinking about and insecure about. I can sense you want to be a good neighbor to these people. And but look, like the rules are the rules, and you're doing what you're doing, and and there's enough problems that my friends in the wine business and the beer business are happening. We don't need this one.
No, it's hard enough to run a business.
We're trying to sell our beer for crying out loud, bro. You don't think that's hard enough?
Yeah. No, it's hard enough to run a small business just in general.
For real.
Anywhere in the country, it's hard enough. It's harder to run a small business in California. It's harder to run a small business in downtown San Luis Obispo when you have the unique, set of circumstances that our businesses have to deal with. And, the city, I think, is starting to be a little more business friendly, and that, we're trying our best to get businesses in these vacant buildings. We're trying our best to work with the businesses as they are doing with us right now, to eliminate some of the hurdles and to allow us to do what the community wants us to do, what the city has envisioned for the downtown. So, again, like I think that there's a lot of positives.
Yeah, Adam can't do it all. He can't. He can do 2.
Yeah,
but he can't do them all.
And I don't know what I missed earlier in the show, but I'll say that I think it's so cool how you guys at Libertine really champion local music. Like, there's all these bands that have gotten their start there that get a chance to finally play live shows. Like, we needed that when we were a band too, and when we started. And, if you're a band that can only get 100 people out, you can't play Slow Brew Rock yet. You're not ready. And like you get out to the Libertine, it's so cool. It's such a vibe in there. Yeah. It feels great. It sounds really good in there. And so it's really special for that reason. Who knows, like those bands that get their start there, where will they end up? It's like part of creating history and culture here.
Well, you opened up your heart to the breaking and entering Jingle Jam. I mean, that was huge. I mean, it's easy to find a venue and be like, boom, here we go. Like we're, Damon, all these people can all come out and do this. Or I think of like Slow Comedy Fest. I mean, like you're about to host them again in a week or so, like this next coming week. Like, I mean, here's like real stand-up comics coming from LA, the Bay, like legit stand-up comics that have been on the Tonight Show and shit. They're coming here, and they're going to be, you got 4 shows at the Libertine. I mean, that's really, really cool.
One of the things that I'm really proud of that, we don't get to talk about it a lot. It's kind of a humble brag, I guess, but in 2025, we actually paid out over $125,000 to local musicians.
Wow.
So, people that, played on our Thursday night college nights, things like that, and just different entertainers and whatnot. I shouldn't just lump it to just music because it includes our comedy and stuff too.
Sure.
But that's only the people that we paid out. So, like, for example, we had Andre Nicotina play our stage. We didn't handle the tickets on that one, though.
Really?
Yeah. So, but we didn't handle the tickets on that one. He handled the tickets himself. So we didn't pay him out. So that's another, probably tens of thousands of dollars in ticket sales that can be attributed to our business. We hosted a lot of shows with Good Medicine and Numbskull. They handle their own tickets. We don't pay them out, so that's more revenue being driven through ticket sales there.
That's so cool. He loves slow brew. He loves slow.
Yeah.
He loves slow. I mean, he's come here for years and years.
Yeah.
I remember him when he was Dre Dog.
Yeah.
Like, dude, old school.
Yeah.
Andre Nicotina. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so awesome, man.
Yeah. So,
good for you.
So, that's another portion of like the economic aspect of it is, we're supporting musicians and their livelihoods, right? Like there's not a lot of places like Nick said that you can go and play. If you can only draw 150 people or 100 people, you can't go play the Fremont. You can't go play SLO Brew. You can't go say, hey, Vino Robles, like I'm gonna show up today and bring my guitar. So we're definitely filling that niche for people, and for a college band to make $200, $300, $400 for a night, like that's great for those guys.
Tell me how your weeks look. What do we got going on? We'll get links to the show notes too. Slow Comedy Fest and everything you're doing. But are there weekly things that are going on? You just mentioned college night.
Yeah, so we do a jazz jam every other Monday, or I guess the first, third, and fifth Mondays of the month. Tuesdays we always do stand-up comedy, so we have an open mic. So that's an opportunity for comics to get their start.
No way.
We were talking before.
Dude, that might be my time.
Yeah, so
I'll go. I'll be there. I will show up. Are you kidding me? It sounds amazing.
There's so much history too. So there's a comic. We were talking about Kill Tony before we started recording. So there's a comic who's a regular on Kill Tony now who did his first open mic at Libertine.
Stop it. Who is it?
Jack Shaw.
I know him.
Yeah.
I met him. I met Jack Shaw when he was working with Craig Shoemaker. And Craig Shoemaker, I brought out to Slow Brew Rock. And Jack Shaw was working with him at the time. And I really enjoyed him. And I've seen him on Kill Tony. I would text him like, dude, you on KT? That's crazy.
So that's the launch pad that like a venue like this provides, right? So now Jack is a touring comedian. We brought him back and he did a performance at Libertine and he sold out, and it was his first time selling out a show.
Stop it. How many people did you put in there? Cool.
So when we do seated shows, it lowers our capacity. So we're around 150.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I say Craig Shoemaker wants to come back here. He loves slow.
Yeah.
I think we could put him there.
Yeah.
He would kill it there.
Let's do it,
dude.
But yeah, so Tuesday,
do you know Craig Shoemaker? Like you?
Yeah.
I mean, like the mass. I mean, he's old school.
Yeah.
Old school 90s, early aughts. Like he's so good.
He's funny.
He's really funny. He's really funny.
Yeah.
That'd be great, dude.
So Tuesdays we always do open mic comedy.
Okay.
Wednesdays we do line dancing. So when we talked about how we kind of assumed a lot of the Slow Brew Garden Street activity, right? Like we kind of took the place of that. We also took the place of The Graduate when The Graduate went out. The Graduate used to host Latin night and line dancing, and then live music, of course, and sports and whatnot. So line dancing we do every Wednesday. And we also do salsa night every Sunday. So those two things, we kind of, the community needed those when The Graduate went away. They didn't have places for that, and there's really no place for that in downtown.
Right.
Where else is doing salsa dancing and line dancing in downtown?
When I first got into radio, it was like 2003. I moved here, and they were doing wet T-shirt contests at The Graduate. Graduate was this legendary, man. What a place for some great lunch in the day, corporate, and then like debauchery at night.
I hosted my first event there when I was a young event planner in 2010.
Right.
Yeah, I hosted my first event there.
So you do events for, it feels like you do a lot more than events. I mean, you've literally been like ambassadoring and like laboring for Libertine with the city. So
I've been at it for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've been working events and fighting this fight for 20 years here in San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
But But yeah, lately the last few years has been with Libertine.
Yeah, well, good for you, man. It's been fun to really get a chance to sit down with you like this, and I just look forward to the next time we can do it again, my man.
Yeah, man, of course.
We'll put all the links in the show notes. Hey, you can help, you could support. Remember, this is coming up on Monday, literally over the weekend. Get ready because we need you to show up. Where and when?
2:30 Monday, February 23rd at City Hall.
Okay, 2:30. That's tough.
Yep.
Take the day off work.
Yep.
Tell your boss Adam said you have the day off.
You can always write an email.
You can always write. Yeah, no, we're going to put that email to Mallory Patino. Mallory Patino. Dude, final words for John, Nick?
I'm rooting for you guys. I got your back. Yeah.
Thank you. Us too.
Yes, I know. It's beautiful. It's like it's actual community.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, I've played at venues all around the country, and I can tell when a venue is you're just another band that's coming through, and I can tell when you're like the Libertine and you actually care about the music and you care about creating an experience for people.
Totally agree.
So I know that with certainty.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Sean, for your time, man. Thanks for being up and at it. Means a lot.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again.
Really good interview. I like John a lot. He is fantastic. I appreciate you coming in. I got all the links in the show notes. Especially if you want to email Mallory Patino, respectful, kind emails to Mallory Patino. She is the assistant planner for the city. I believe that, again, that meeting Monday, February 23rd, 2:30 p.m. All the links you need, even to Libertine and their coffee shop. By the way, I've been ordering. I didn't even tell John this. I get one of their burritos DoorDash, got one this week, one last week. It is so good. Their breakfast burritos might be the best around. And I love their mocha with oat milk. It's pretty good too. So yeah, their coffee shop. Don't sleep on that. Okay, so thanks to John for being up and Adam. I am so ready for the weekend. Part of Friday's show, each Friday, we talk to Robin Coleman. She is from the Woods Humane Society. Love her work, love their work. Robin, thank you so much for being up and Adam.
Good morning, Adam. How are you?
Great to chat with you. I am fantastic. How about you? How's your week on?
I'm good. I'm shivering. That was me shivering in my cold voice.
Oh, you know what? The rain. I got to tell you a funny story. Not a funny story. It's actually kind of it's not a sad story, but it makes you go,
oh,
you know?
No.
It was this rain, and because there were some bouts of very, very
crazy rain. Yeah. A little scary.
And I'm taking a video to send a lady I fancy who's out this week working, and it's like the rain is really loud. Harvey gets really scared. He does not like it. Starts shivering.
Okay.
Shaking. And even
at the rain or the thunder?
Both. But
all?
I mean, even the rain,
okay.
all, yeah. And even his teeth jittering. I see this girl that's like holding him.
Oh my God.
You're holding him like a little baby, like, it's okay, you're safe. It's just so sad. Mm-hmm. So then maybe if you could see out the window, we're on the couch and he's looking out the window, then I'm putting the camera out the window. And right as I put the camera to the window, it's like lightning, and then big thunder. I'm like, oh no. So then he's shivering even more.
More scared.
I'm still recording. I put the camera back to the window. There's like this blue ball lightning that hits somewhere in the neighborhood. And then 2 seconds later, our power goes out. And I have this all
my nightmare.
I have this all on video. And like, what a crazy video. So then thank goodness, like 60 seconds later, the power comes back on. So it's very temporary. Good news. But then I'm like, where did Harvey go? Harvey's gone. Like, of course, he's not outside. It's not outside the house, but where did he go in the house? So I'm looking, I'm like, well, obviously he got scared. He ran. Is he under a bed? Is he here? He jumped deep into the guest bedroom closet. Like,
oh my gosh.
This is a cluttered closet. Like, your guest bedroom closet is not your bedroom closet. It's a cluttered closet.
He was determined.
He jumps over some stuff, a vacuum, this, that, and just like buries himself in the back corner of it. It was so sad. I'm like, oh, poor guy.
Oh. Well, that is very sad, but it's not that surprising. I think a lot of pet parents were probably in a similar situation the other night. Again, animals sense things so much deeper and stronger than we do. So if it's loud for us, it's like 100+ times loud for them. They sense things, they feel things. It's just kind of like they don't know what to do with those emotions. So a lot of scared pets, I bet, this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Gray. Gray is our pet of the week. Really cute, beautiful cat. Beautiful cat.
He is beautiful, and that is why I wanted to talk about him today, because just like your guy, this guy, even when it's not raining, he is hiding. So he's a little scared and shy at the shelter. If people have been out there, they've probably walked right by his room, not thinking there was a cat in there. Well, you can check out his video that we post every Friday morning for our Pets of the Week. You can see me pulling up the blanket to find him, and that is where he's at, under a blankie where he feels safe and secure. But that's not helping him get adopted, so people don't even know he's there. So that's why we're featuring this sweet boy. He's so handsome, beautiful, beautiful gray coat, beautiful, very piercing eyes, and he loves affection. He loves people. So just because an animal is shy doesn't mean they're not friendly or don't want affection. It just, in a shelter especially, they don't present in a welcoming way. So we want to feature this guy. He's scared at the shelter. He needs to get out. Let's get him a home. He'll be an easy addition for somebody. Probably a quieter, calmer house will do better for him. He does come out when it's quiet. He likes his treats. He loves to get his little ear scratchies in. And so let's get Gray during this gray, stormy week. This is cat cuddling weather. Not so fun for the dog parents out there, because we all know most dogs do not like going out in this weather. But our cats we can just stay inside, stay warm, cuddle time with our cats. So if you're looking for a cuddler, go meet Gray. Check for him under his blankie in his room at the SLO shelter. Gorgeous cat that's just, again, always kind of hiding under a blankie, so not getting adopted.
It's so interesting because you talk about his disposition being a little bit, timid, yet in one of these pictures, it looks like he's looking at me like I owe him money or something.
the one where he's standing.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
Bitch, give me my money.
That's the most confident I've ever seen him look. So
beautiful
we
cat.
Captured that one. Yeah. Early in the morning, before it gets too busy, he does come out. But then as soon as the commotion starts, he just kind of finds himself, and cats do need hiding spaces. They do like to tuck themselves away, and that's how they kind of feel comfy and I guess safe. But at a shelter, it's just so loud and noisy, so many people walking around, doors opening and shutting constantly. It's a hard place for a shy animal. So let's get Gray adopted. You can share his post or go meet him today.
You're getting into something that I wanted to mention before we got off the phone that I think is perfect. One, it's perfect for you because you've always, as long as we've known each other, had such a heart for this aspect of loving a dog. And that is the whole idea of you call it Pause to Remember. And this is actually a pet loss support group. You're going to be doing it monthly. It's free. It's kind of like this drop-in support, which I think is so needed. And I'm so glad that you're kind of, flexing your ability to connect with people like this.
Yeah, it is time. I've been wanting to do it for years. It's been in conversation for years. At Woods, I'm there almost 12 years now, Adam, and probably every day we get a phone call from somebody who is getting ready to say goodbye or has just said goodbye to a loved pet. Oftentimes they've gotten it from Woods, so we feel like just part of that story and part of that family, but sometimes not from Woods. But either way, they look to Woods as a resource. They reach out. They might need some words of comfort or some advice. And our whole pet pantry program, how we're able to share thousands of pet food with the community, how we get blankets and toys and collars and leashes and pet beds for our shelter animals, is because community members come in and drop off their donations. And a lot of times, Adam, that's because they've said goodbye to a loved pet. And their items are part of those memories, and they don't want to toss them in the trash. And they want to feel like they can have another kind of life cycle. And so our pet pantry and a lot of our shelter items are from people's pets who have passed away, and we're kind of putting them to good use. And that has really started a lot of conversations. And, I lost my soulmate dog who started my career at Woods last year. And it has been a journey. It has been difficult. And I've been, in a weird space, especially working around animals every day and people talking about animals every day. So it's been a roller coaster for me. And I have leaned on Hospice of SLO. I did a lot of grief counseling with them. We partner with them for their annual event, and we're just taking it to the next level. We're kind of adding one more community program for people in this community. So many animal lovers and so many people. I talk to people every day who have been dealing with grief from losing a pet and didn't know who to talk to, didn't know if they should talk about it, were embarrassed to talk about it. Why do I feel this way? Comparing it to a human loss, and it's just complicated. So I am so proud to partner with Hospice of SLO. Our first session is next Thursday at Woods in SLO. It's free. It's confidential. You don't need to sign up. You can just come in. It's from 3 to 4, and it's just going to be a little help with some healing, and we'll be there with, people who can support you, give you some tips, and really just that you can feel comfortable in sharing your pet loss grief, and we're there to support you. So I'm very proud. Years in the making. Pause to Remember monthly pet loss support groups now offered at Woods. And thank you for letting me share. And if you're listening, we have a flyer up on our website. We posted it this week on Instagram and Facebook. I know you know somebody who's lost a pet recently. I know everybody. One of the other radio guys I talked to earlier just heard from a friend that they lost a dear pet. And I was like, please share this with them. So share with your animal loving friends. And I hope that we can help people heal.
February 26th, 3 to 4. Again, go to woodshumane.org. Robin Coleman, she is our favorite part about finding forever homes for dogs, even cats. Check out Gray today. Great work, Robin. We love you. Thank you so much for the wonderful work you do and for being Up and Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
It's Up and Adam with Adam Montiel.
All right, there she is, Robin Coleman, the one and only. woodshumane.org. Love them. Love her. Love that the weekend is finally here. Ready to get into it? Let's go. Thanks to Moonshiner Collective for original music on this show called Start Again. I did reach out to Dan Curcio of Moonshiner Collective. We will have him on the show next week. I'm pretty sure we're dialing in. We don't have a date yet, but small chance it could be the week after, but we're aiming for next week. I'm loving it. All right. What else? Timbre Winery. I appreciate them so much for the Timbre Lobro studio. They're doing their work again with Cal Poly this year. We're going to have these guys on next week too. The EIM, the Experience in Marketing Department at Cal Poly, they're going to be putting on another event at Timbre. Really, really looking forward to it. We're going to have those Cal Poly students on next week to talk all about it. That's coming up early March, so that is going to be very, very soon. I just love the work that Josh and Chiasa do with Cal Poly's EIM. Pretty sweet, pretty awesome, pretty giving. They're just awesome community folks. And I thank them earnestly for the Timbre Lobro Studios. Most importantly, I thank you for connecting here, for, if you can, taking a moment. You have no idea how much it means to rate, review, subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to it, especially if you are one of the majority of people that listen on Apple Podcasts. A 5-star review and leaving a review, like hitting 5 stars and actually typing out a review. It is huge, and it's serious traction. It's serious traction. So I thank you in advance. Or if you've already done it in the past, I appreciate you more than you know. All right. I do wonder if we're doing a little rain next week. We talked about it, and then I look back in my weather forecast. I don't see that right now. So the rain might be done for a minute. And you know what? Dogs are okay with it. Dogs are okay with it indeed. Hope you have a great weekend, safe weekend. We'll talk to you Monday. Till then, I'm Adam Montiel. Thank you for being Up and Adam.
Some say life is where it begins. Straight to the stars is where it ends. Only to start again. Let's start again. We'll start again. Let's start again.